Sugar. That sweet, crystalline substance we crave. It's in our pantries, our coffee, and our favorite desserts. We use it to sweeten, to preserve, and to add texture. But when you reach for a bag, you're often faced with a choice. White or brown? They look different, they feel different, and they certainly behave differently in our recipes. To understand this sugary saga, we must first go back to the source. Both of these sweethearts begin their journey in the exact same place, either from the tall, fibrous stalks of the sugarcane plant or the bulbous root of the sugar beet. It's not their origin that separates them, but the path they take from the field to your kitchen. The journey starts with a harvest. The plants, whether cane or beet, are chopped down and transported to a mill. Here they are crushed and pressed with immense force to squeeze out every last drop of their sweet, grassy juice. This raw juice is then boiled down, a process of evaporation that thickens it into a dark, sticky, and intensely sweet syrup. As the water content decreases, sugar crystals begin to form within this thick liquid. This mixture of crystals and syrup is what we call raw sugar. It's at this crucial point in our story that our two sugars begin to part ways, heading down two very different production lines. The fundamental difference lies in one key ingredient: molasses. So how does brown sugar get its signature color and clumpy texture? It's all about leaving things in, or more accurately, adding them back. Most commercial brown sugar today is actually made from fully refined white sugar. After the white sugar crystals are formed and purified, a specific amount of that dark, flavorful molasses is sprayed back onto them. The molasses coats each tiny white crystal, giving it that familiar tan hue and a moist, sandy feel. The amount of molasses added determines whether you get light brown sugar, which has a milder flavor, or dark brown sugar, with its more robust, almost smoky character. It's a carefully controlled reunion. On the other side of the factory, white sugar undergoes a much more rigorous purification process. After the initial crystallization, the raw sugar crystals are sent to a centrifuge. This machine spins at incredibly high speeds. Think of a salad spinner on overdrive, flinging the dark, sticky molasses off the crystals. What remains are the pure, unadulterated sucrose crystals. To ensure they are sparkling white and completely neutral in flavor, they are often filtered through materials like bone char or activated carbon. This strips away any lingering impurities or color, resulting in the fine, free-flowing, brilliant, white granulated sugar we all know so well. It is sugar in its most refined, unflavored state. Let's talk texture, a crucial factor in the kitchen. Dip your hand into a bag of white sugar. It feels dry, almost sandy, and it pours like a dream. The individual crystals are separate and don't clump together. This is because all the sticky molasses has been completely removed during the refining process. Each crystal is pure, naked sucrose with nothing to make it stick to its neighbor. This dry, loose quality is precisely why it dissolves so quickly and evenly in liquids. Whether you're stirring it into your morning iced tea or whipping it into a delicate meringue, it's uniform and predictable, a reliable soldier in your culinary army. Now switch gears and plunge your measuring cup into a bag of brown sugar. The experience is completely different. It feels damp, soft, and clumpy. You have to pack it down firmly to get an accurate measurement, much like building a sandcastle with wet sand. This distinct texture is all thanks to that coating of molasses. The molasses is hygroscopic, which is a fancy way of saying it attracts and holds on to water molecules from the air. This inherent moisture is what makes brown sugar soft and clumpy. It's also why it can turn into a hard, unusable brick if you don't store it in an airtight container. The moisture is its greatest asset and its greatest liability. The flavor story follows a similar plot. White sugar offers a singular, straightforward note, pure sweetness. There are no other tastes to complicate the matter. It's a blank canvas, providing sweetness without interfering with the other flavors in your dish. When you make a delicate vanilla custard or a light angel food cake, you want the vanilla or the almond to be the star of the show. White sugar does its job quietly in the background, sweetening the deal without stealing the spotlight. It's the ultimate team player when a clean, unadulterated sweetness is what the recipe calls for, providing a crisp and neutral foundation. Brown sugar, on the other hand, brings a whole band of flavors to the party. That molasses coating doesn't just add moisture, it adds a deep, rich, and complex taste. Depending on whether you're using light or dark brown sugar, you'll get notes of caramel, toffee, or even a hint of smokiness. This is why it's the star in recipes like gingerbread, where its molasses notes are essential, or in a sticky barbecue sauce, where its deep flavor complements the savory and spicy elements. Brown sugar isn't just a sweetener, it's a flavor agent in its own right, adding a layer of complexity that white sugar simply cannot provide. When you're standing in your kitchen, recipe in hand, the choice between brown and white sugar is more than just a matter of taste. It's a matter of science. The different properties of these two sugars will have a dramatic effect on the final outcome of your baked goods. Let's consider cookies. If you're aiming for a cookie that is soft, moist, and chewy, brown sugar is your best friend. The moisture from the molasses will keep the cookie from drying out in the oven, resulting in that gooey center we all love. The slight acidity in molasses also reacts with baking soda, helping the cookie to rise a bit before it spreads. Conversely, if you want a cookie that is crisp, thin, and crunchy, you should reach for the white sugar. Because white sugar contains no extra moisture, it helps the cookie dough spread out more in the oven. This creates a larger, thinner cookie that bakes up to a delightful snap. Think of a classic shortbread or a crunchy biscotti. These creations rely on the dry, crystalline structure of white sugar to achieve their signature texture. Using white sugar also leads to a lighter-colored final product, which is desirable in certain recipes where you want a pale, delicate appearance. The lack of molasses means no extra browning. The application extends far beyond the world of cookies. In cakes, the choice is just as critical. For a light, airy, and delicate creation like an angel food cake or a chiffon cake, white sugar is non-negotiable. Its ability to dissolve completely and create a stable foam with egg whites is essential for achieving that ethereal, cloud-like texture. Using brown sugar would weigh the batter down, add unwanted color, and introduce a flavor that would overpower the cake's subtlety. White sugar allows for a tender crumb and a clean, bright flavor profile that lets other ingredients like lemon or vanilla shine through brightly. However, for richer, denser baked goods, brown sugar is the undisputed champion. Think of a moist carrot cake, a dense gingerbread loaf, or gooey, fudgy brownies. In these cases, the moisture and flavor from the molasses are not just welcome, they are essential to the recipe's success. Brown sugar helps to create a dense, moist crumb, and adds a layer of caramel-like richness that complements spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. It's also the go-to for glazes and savory sauces, where its deep flavor and sticky texture are needed to create a thick, clingy coating for meats or vegetables. Now for the question that's on everyone's mind, is brown sugar healthier than white sugar? It's a common belief. The darker color and more natural reputation often lead people to think they are making a healthier choice. However, I'm here to tell you that this is mostly a sweet illusion. When we break it down to the molecular level, both white and brown sugar are overwhelmingly composed of the same thing, sucrose. From a caloric and carbohydrate standpoint, they are virtually identical. A teaspoon of either contains about 16 calories and 4 grams of sugar. Your body processes them in almost the exact same way. The only real nutritional difference comes from, you guessed it, the molasses. That thin coating on brown sugar crystals does contain some trace minerals that are absent in pure white sugar. We're talking about tiny amounts of calcium, potassium, iron, and magnesium. These minerals are stripped away from white sugar during the intense refining process, but are retained in the molasses. So, technically, brown sugar does have a slightly better mineral profile. It sounds good on paper, but the reality is that the amounts are so minuscule that they have no significant impact on your health. It's a nutritional technicality, not a benefit. To put it in perspective, you would have to consume an enormous and unhealthily large quantity of brown sugar to get any meaningful amount of these minerals. For example, to get a noteworthy amount of iron, you would need to eat cups and cups of the stuff, by which point the detrimental effects of consuming that much sugar would far outweigh any tiny mineral benefit you might receive. Choosing brown sugar over white sugar for health reasons is like choosing to stand in the rain instead of a thunderstorm to stay dry. The difference is negligible and misses the larger point. Too much of either is not good for you. Ultimately, the choice between brown and white sugar should not be based on a perceived health advantage. Both are forms of added sugar, and health authorities recommend limiting our intake of them. The real decision should be a culinary one, based entirely on the flavor, texture, and color you want to achieve in your final dish. Are you making a light, delicate meringue or a rich, chewy brownie? A crisp shortbread or a sticky barbecue glaze? Let your recipe and your desired outcome be your guide. In the Great Sugar Showdown, there is no nutritional winner, only different tools for different jobs in the delicious science of cooking.